Flight 604 had 4 additional players on board on Monday. Roy and Kolesar and a couple of goaltenders boarded the flight as well. LT and LB 604. Chris Golick, by the way, Vancouver's area code.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. It's time for your team every day. From Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco, along with Chris Golick. We come to you Monday through Friday. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, and also make sure that you check out the podcast, the audio version, wherever you get your podcasts, and on Twitter at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G.
Hi.
Hey, man. The Golden Knights took off on Monday with some, let's say, reinforcements, right, for this Western Canada trip. And they will start off in Vancouver, and then they go to Calgary, and then they play at Edmonton. Scheduling quirk, of course, it's so rigged. They'll play Edmonton back-to-back there, and then they come back to Las Vegas, and they have a day off, I think, before they play Edmonton here. So, 3 games. Let's talk about the road trip first. And they've got 3 goalies. That's our first order of business. So, Jonathan Quick, he'll probably start Tuesday. Who knows? Logan Thompson, he returns, as does Laurent Brossoit. And on Monday, Jiri Patera sent back to Henderson. Logan Thompson last appeared in a game on February the 9th. It's been that long. And his record 20-13-3, 2.66, .914. And Laurent Brossoit appeared in 3 games. His last game, February the 25th, came up on February 21st. I thought he was up for a while longer. His record 1-0-2, 2.20, .936. Let's start with the goalies first. 3 games, and it could become a game time decision on Tuesday night, but I'm sort of leaning towards Jonathan Quick.
Let's read between the lines for a second. Patera gets sent down on Monday.
You thought there'd be 4 goalies on this trip.
I honestly did, and, reading between the lines right now with Patera being sent down, I think the VGK felt they could get through the Columbus game with Hutchinson, Patera, Dylan Ferguson, Jordan Papirny.
I think Dylan Ferguson. Wow, 48 saves.
I didn't know. I knew he started. I know he had 48 saves. That's pretty awesome because we literally saw his career start in Vegas. So it's actually really cool.
2-1. They beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ottawa did. Okay.
That's really cool. That's a good nugget right there. So going back to where I was saying here, with Patera getting sent down, I think if they were in a spot where you needed, for whatever reason, Logan or Brossoit to play yesterday, Sunday this is, one of them probably could have started. I think the VGK felt it's Columbus. Let's give him a little bit extra rest. Patera, don't got to risk anything. Patera is going to win us this game, and let's wheels up to flight 604 up to Vancouver, and we'll figure it out then. Looking at what Coach Cassidy said in the presser on Sunday night after the VGK victory, hypothetical, well, let's just say Logan is the first one to go. He's got to get through that first start, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I think we're going to see Logan Thompson make his debut on Tuesday. Okay. And I think Jonathan Quick's going to back up. And then Thursday, maybe Quick stays in his suits and, Brossoit backs up. Obviously, health pens. But I definitely think you're going to get Logan Thompson Tuesday and or Thursday. At least one of those games, we will see LT. Is LB ready or not to take the other game? I don't know. But definitely we're going to see LT this week.
Cassidy, again on Monday, comes back and he says since day one, it's been in flux with the goalie situation, with that position, and he's never utilized 5 goaltenders before. And he started going back chronologically through the Robin Lehner era and all that, and then Brossoit. And he's been up against it. But truth of the matter is that they've had consistency in the net, in the crease, and it's been pretty good. And he said in general, they've really had a lot of good goaltending with this team, which is kind of a surprise when you really start to break it down like that.
If you would have told me, listen, preseason, off season, we were concerned about the goalie situation. Start of season, concerned, but the tensions kind of eased the deeper into the season we got. If you would have told me that come March 20th, VGK would start their 5th goalie of the season, Robin Leonard not even anywhere in sight, and VGK would be contending for the top spot in the West and can climb as high as 2nd or 3rd overall in the league when the dust settles here. We can't overlook that. If you would have told me that's pretty remarkable. And you give love to the goalies, but I think you give more love to the defense for what our top 6 is doing right now.
Yeah, and then we talked about last week on the show. I was talking about Pietrangelo. I remember I said he's kind of quiet lately. Well, in the last 3 games, he's had 5 assists. So defensively, they're starting to become offensive defensemen again, as we're seeing Zach Whitecloud with a goal in each of the last 2 games. And again, it was Cassidy on Monday saying that he's not even close to figuring out who the starting goalie would be for the playoffs, but he wanted to reiterate that. But he said a lot's going to shake out in the next 12 games, of course, the final 12 games of this season. And out of those 12 games, how many more points do you think they need to secure, let's say, the top spot? Because the Kings keep winning and they keep putting pressure, and they were beating Calgary on Monday night, and they appear to be a team that's not going to go away easily.
No,
I was going to say
Kings,
quickly, but yeah, I didn't want to say quickly.
The Kings, they're up to a plus 12 goal differential. They were flirting around 0 or even negative for a large part of the season. VGK is up to plus 34, so they're really starting to get it going there. So your question was, to win the division, how many points do we need? There's 12 games left, 24
Even if they
possible.
split all their games, they could finish no worse than 2nd, I would have to think, in the division.
Let's say the Kings are going to get 16 points. That's a reasonable number. So, I think 107 is the number. 107. That means the Kings go 8-4 down the stretch, which is probably a little, no disrespect to them, but that's probably a little more respect than they deserve. Just not that they're anything bad or anything like that, but 8-4 down the stretch and a lot of meaningful games is going to be a tough task for the VGK, for the Kings, for the Oilers, and even Seattle, all 4 teams who are kind of jockeying. In Seattle, they're falling. All of a sudden, Seattle's only in the playoffs by 6 points.
Poor goaltending, and it's not who you think it might be either.
Martin Jones, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, Martin Jones. I know you're the leader of the fan club for Martin Jones.
Huge. In Vegas, absolutely. We love him.
So also on this trip, a couple of more, let's hope they're not passengers, but we've got Nic Roy and we've got Keegan Kolesar. They are back. I'm thinking Kolesar will probably play next to Bluger and Howden, and perhaps Amadio will be the odd man out unless they move him up a line. I'm not quite sure, but the way that Cassidy was speaking on Monday, he seemed to say that they were really playing well together with Howden and Bluger. And then Kolesar, his last game, March 11th against Carolina on the road, 25 points in 54 games. And he's been out since February the 21st, the game at Chicago.
Just going to miss a couple of days. He'll be back. No big deal. Probably no big deal. Just going to miss a couple of games,
Yeah, just a couple of games. He'll be back. No problem.
Love it. So
he's listed as day to day. Remember, he's
day to day asterisk, right?
A month later, it is officially like 1 month later.
Trying to figure out,
even the season's turned.
Right. Trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen is tough. So let's go under the assumption that Nic Roy and Kolesar go tomorrow night. Let's just throw that out there right now. What 2 players go? Amadio has had stretches of good and bad, and I feel that he's on Cassidy's radar as expendable. Not a knock on Amadio. It's just the reality right now.
Yeah, he'll be a healthy scratch. I could almost bet on that for Tuesday night.
I think Amadio and Dorofeev are 1 and 2. I think so.
You think Dorofeev's going to be out?
I think Nic Roy takes Dorofeev's spot when he comes back.
Wow.
No knock on Dorofeev, but
no,
Nic
he's
Roy,
just been so hot. He's been so hot. Like, just he's proven to me. I know, again, I hate saying small sample size.
Cotter's also been hot. Cotter's also been hot right now. You can't take
Cotter's starting to pick up again. That's right. Yeah.
Listen, a line 4, if they were to run for the interim with Bluger, Roy, and Kolesar, and Dorofeev does stay in the lineup, I'm not against that either. I'm definitely not against it if that's how this shakes out, if Howden and Amadio go. I think Cotter has been playing well enough to secure a spot right now with Stevenson and Kessel. And I mean, listen, there could be a whole line. I mean, outside of line one, I can see Cassidy shaking everything up right now. I don't think that's the best idea necessarily, but you could see Cassidy really, toss them in a blender right now, trying to get the most out of things. I mean, Nic Roy, was anticipated to be a 20-plus goal scorer based on his contract and even his trajectory. He would have flirted with 20 goals, which would have been nice. So, you could find him in the top, in the top six and take Dorofeev's spot. Or they give Dorofeev more games down the stretch to see what he can do.
Dorofeev's value right now is on the power play. Mm-hmm. You have to keep him in there because, I mean, right now they were the only unit that could score.
And that's totally fair, Tony. And I do get that.
He took off the other unit during the power play and made sure that they came back and they scored that second goal. That was something that really opened my eyes, I think, to the way that Dorofeev his value has been proven now, I think.
Listen, Dorofeev has done what Cassidy does want everybody to do. Go hard to the net, go to the dirty areas, and put the puck in. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And Dorofeev has shown the ability and the commitment to getting dirty. So, yes, maybe there is a path where Dorofeev does stay. And I do like the power play angle. The power play has been, borderline abysmal. It's been decent. It also has been borderline abysmal.
Yeah.
So Dorofeev
borderline. No, it's abysmal. 1 for 25 at home. Yeah.
No doubt. But the road, they've been doing okay with it, though.
Right.
So, take the good with the bad there.
1 for 24 on the road. Yeah, pretty good.
It was 1 for 24 on the road? I thought it was at home.
I just made that up.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Like, I knew they sucked at home. So, listen, I mean, we agree Amadio's first outs. And I think where we're going to split hairs is between Howden, Dorofeev, and Paul Cotter. I would give him a less than 10% chance of being the odd man out. But, this is weird. Like, it's March 20th, and somehow the Vegas Golden Knights are back in training camp. They're playing for roster spots.
Right. And he said he's going to put the best roster on the ice. That's what he said.
Listen, this is a dream for the coach right now because practices are going to be intense. They might even get heated at times. Everyone wants to be on the ice. This is the time if you got the ability to get to City National when the team is back home. These are going to be fun practices. You may not get as much interaction with the players, and Jack Eichel is probably not going to toss too many pucks over the glass, but this is the time you can really see what it's like to watch an NHL franchise preparing for the playoffs in the heat of the battle and competing not just with the other teams, but with themselves. That's fun. It's a good thing. This is not a problem. We've barely been able to field a roster of 17 skaters before.
Yeah,
let alone
good competition.
23 players.
At this time of year, this is an absolute luxury. So as much as there's been
Kelly McCrimmon, before you go too far, Kelly McCrimmon plan.
As much as there's been the goaltender carousel, they've really found the pieces to fit in, especially offensively and then defensively in front of the net for the Vegas Golden Knights. Coming up next, Vancouver will be a very tough customer despite being out of the playoffs. I'm going to start there, and we'll continue right after this. You are listening and watching Locked On Golden Knights. Hey, the tournament is heating up, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets packed if your bet does not win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It is safe, secure, and so super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to the point scores to the three-pointers drained. Also, we want to make sure that you can bet on the spread, the money line, the total, all that, player points, rebounds, assists. There's so many good bets on there, and some really good prop bets as well. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your first no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And Chris, March Madness is here, and it comes to this city this week. It's going to be so exciting. So we've got a boxing match at MGM on Saturday night. We've got Taylor Swift and the Swifties are in town. We've got college hoops this weekend. It is going to be insane.
Weeks like this, I don't miss
weekend.
Working on the Strip. I don't miss it.
I was going to say it's another big weekend, but they just keep surpassing each other, right? Let's talk about Vancouver, the Canucks. Very dangerous team. They'll be playing VGK up in Vancouver. And here's a team that's supposed to be tanking out of the playoff picture, but they're playing very well. Since February the 21st, I believe they've knocked off Dallas twice. They have beaten some really good teams, Toronto, the Predators, the Senators. And then the past weekend, Alec Martinez, in a back-to-back, they accomplished what VGK could not.
Ooh.
They beat the Kings in LA. I had to go there, because they were whining about that. They beat the Kings in LA, and then they beat Anaheim down the road. They have won 7 of 8, and you've got to hand it to Rick Tocchet to keep this team together. You think perhaps on Monday night, Tocchet and his good friend Phil Kessel got together or maybe broke some bread or what have you? Poutine or whatever they call that. Isn't that what that's called?
If it's anything not to do with hockey, Phil Kessel's in. But so 7-2 in the month of March for Vancouver. That surprised the heck out of me. You know how much research I do leading up to the shows. As you were doing the read, I'm like 1, 2. Wow, this is pretty good. Vancouver gave up 3 goals once, 5 goals, or excuse me, they gave up 1 goal 3 times,
right?
2 goals 5 times, 1 goal once. They have not given up anything more than that the entire month right now. So they're playing great defense. Assuming is it Thatcher Demko playing right now?
Oh yeah.
So in Demko, he's been tough against VGK in the past, definitely in the playoffs. VGK owes Vancouver a game. If you remember, I think it was November, December when VGK, they lost back to back, right? Was it Vancouver then Seattle or something like that? Vancouver just came in and wiped the mat with us. That was the game, and this is a couple of times I've gone back to this. I believe that was the game where Vancouver got to a 2-0 lead. Cassidy got mad at Marchessault and half of basically the top 9 forwards, benched him. Vegas gets the game even. He goes back to the lines that they were losing with, and they wind up losing the game. So, Cassidy
was that game against Vancouver?
I believe so.
Wow,
I'm about 80% sure.
No, that's good. I'm sure you're right.
But Vancouver is owed a game. Whatever the twist is, Vancouver is owed a game by the VGK right now. And the players do remember that stuff. They don't forget this sort of thing. So VGK is going to want to go in there, take control early. And sure, Vancouver's doing well. They're 7-2, but this is a good test for the VGK. Everyone's all giddy about VGK, beating the Blue Jackets 7-2. Whoop-de-doo. Let's go out there and beat Vancouver. Let's have a good game against Vancouver. I'll feel much better if they can even just find a way to get 2 points any way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it's a shutout. I don't care if they blow them out. It doesn't matter to me. This is the game where 2 points is 2 points, not the throwaway game against the Blue Jackets who didn't care about being in that game at all.
Under Tocchet, they have improved a lot defensively. They're checking better. I think that's one of the keys to their success. The Kings the other night did not have very many high danger chances, very few opportunities in that game. Elias Pettersson, 88 points on the season, 33 goals. Quinn Hughes, 60 assists, 60. And JT Miller has 66 points. And on and on. I mean, they just have a very good roster. They strengthened it a little bit. They picked up Vitaly Kravtsov from the Rangers. He was a healthy scratch the other day. I don't know. I'm starting to think he might be a head case. He's playing on the 4th line. But you also have Anthony Bolivier from the Islanders, who was in that Bo Horvat deal, and he's done very well with them in Vancouver. And I think he's got 3 and 5 assists in the last 10 games. So he's starting to play well. So there's a lot of weapons here. Kuzmenko, they say he's a rookie. He's playing well, on and on. I mean, they've got now a pretty good roster. And for some reason, Rick Tocchet's been able to get them to play well, pushing the right buttons. Thatcher Demko, 9-12. But you know what? Of late, he's been playing much, much better. Colin Delia is also the other goalie. He's 8-4. but he just played the tail end. He played in the Ducks game the other night. So I guess tonight we're going to see Thatcher Demko against the VGK. And you talked about the history and the way he's played against the Vegas Golden Knights. He's had some really good games against VGK.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver, they waved the white flag, right? They did make the Bo Horvat deal and some other stuff as well. So you think the season is over, and no, not necessarily. And this is what Vancouver did last year too. Even
they closed well, right?
They did, and this was Bruce Boudreau. Like, okay, Bruce Boudreau is going to be seemed like to be the man who's going to take that team back to the playoffs this season.
There it is.
Yeah, exactly. And Bruce, there he went. He's already gone, but
Bruce, there he goes.
Exactly. I mean, VGK should have been the one that put the nail in that coffin, but instead, they got their butts kicked, and the Vancouver fans were singing that stupid song as well as they walked off that game. So, it's fun. I mean, this is also what makes hockey fun, like the unknown. This is why the games are played, and you have a lot of talent on the ice for both teams. And Vancouver's been a team that's really been building through the draft, going all the way back to 2017, 2018. You would think by now they would be a little more competitive, and they've done a little something since then, but it's not the case. But maybe Rick Tocchet is the person for the job who's going to start twisting and turning the dials a little bit, and now they stand in the way of VGK, who is still playing some pretty good hockey, minus that little bump in the road against the Flames. So we got to continue to get right, but Vancouver's going to want to make it tough on us.
Okay, devil's advocate here. If Bruce Cassidy wants to play the best lineup that he can, why not stick with the current lineup? He likes to play the hot hand across the board.
I'm okay using your logic, Tony. I'm okay leaving the top 9 alone.
Okay.
I'm okay with leaving the top 9 intact, which includes Dorofeyev staying in the lineup. Honestly, Howden and even Amadio, other way around, Amadio and Howden are interchangeable pieces, in my opinion. I think Kolesar can bring a heavier game than Amadio. Difference is, you're not going to see, especially with the addition of Barbashev, you're not going to see Kolesar killing penalties where Amadio can kill penalties, but he's not going to be called upon because we're pretty deep on the kill right now. It would take a weird circumstance to have to go down to Amadio to kill penalties. With Bluger and Barbashev coming in, you still got Smith, you still got Carlson, you still got Eichel, who's been killing penalties, so that hurts Amadio's value a little bit right now. I could see if Cassie doesn't want to get too cute, assuming they're both available, they both not be available. But if one is available or both, I think Amadio is the one to go, and they only change one piece of it. And I think if they make multiple changes, they start with line 4 and they see how Dorofeyev plays with a couple more players breathing down his neck right now.
Yeah, let's see how that goes, but it will be interesting. And I think that perhaps Cassidy tipped his hand by saying, Amadio, I don't know. He wasn't really sure about him.
All season, I think he would be that about Amadio. He's been fair also. He's been fair, but he's not. Amadio is a player like Marchessault. He'll just bring him up without the media asking him, which that's not good. That's not good.
Coming up next here, we'll have our lock of the night and our predictions for tonight's game at Vancouver in the 604. We'll return with more Flight 604.
I know they have area codes in Canada. That's how they do it too. Okay.
We'll return with more after this on Locked On Golden Knights. If you are looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all those fat and calories, then you really do need to try a Built Bar. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious that you won't think that they're good for you. Perfect for any kind of occasion. And what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. We're not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar. And again, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been telling you to go to Built.com, but now you can go right around the corner. Well, some of us can. And you could go to your local Walmart or your local Sam's Club. And if you go to Walmart, just go to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built Bars, the 4-bar box with cookies and cream, double chocolate coconut puffs. If you're close to a Sam's Club, please run in and grab a 13-bar box with the hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank us later. Again, if you can't make it to one of those two stores here locally or wherever you might be, then definitely go to built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We thank you all for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us again on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. So please check that out. So it is that time. It's time for our locks of the night and our predictions in tonight's game. And I am going to go my two players. We talked about one on our last episode, Chandler Stevenson.
Ooh.
Chandler Stevenson. Come on, man. He's got to start playing well again and get some points. We haven't seen him. You're right. He's been unnoticeable. And then I'm going to go with Nic Roy. I think Roy will be in the lineup. And I think that he's going to come out with a lot of jump in a game like this.
Well, and to the point we made earlier, Nic Roy, he's playing for a roster spot. As weird as that sounds right now, you know, the big contract signing in the offseason, he's got to prove himself. You got a score, Tony?
Yeah. My score is going to be 4-3 Canucks. And Rick Tocchet has this team playing well. They are 13-8 since the coaching changed. 13-8. So he's done a really good job, and they've really shored things up defensively. And again, it should be a tight checking game, especially early on. And VGK has got to find a way to break through, and they're going to have to put bodies in front of the net in front of Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, I mean, we went through this in the playoffs, obviously, in the bubble year where they couldn't crack that code. But that said, they lit Thatcher Demko up the last time they were in Vancouver and found ways to get pucks past him when Vancouver came here, too. So hopefully we've exercised that demon, but, you know, we still haven't exercised the Pete DeBoer demon yet. So who knows? We'll see what happens there. I like 4-3 VGK. I like the fact that there's more players returning to the lineup. There's going to be a different locker room vibe, even more upbeat than it already is. Bring Logan Thompson back into that mix, and that just brings everybody up. And I think there's a lot of players that are going to be making sure they do the little things right and have a really good game. So give me a 4-3 VGK regulation winner, and Riley Smith and Barbashev. Barbashev seems to be a little bit quiet last couple of games. He Jack Eichel set him up a couple of times and he couldn't finish. So
oh man, that one right there on the right side of the net. I was thinking, oh no, not this again. Someone can't handle the puck on a hot shot pass from Jack Eichel.
Can you imagine?
Was that a shot? Could you imagine a shot pass?
Right, exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you imagine a line now? We're kind of in the free form portion here. Mark Stone comes back. Is there a world that exists where they go Eichel, Stone, Barbashev?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's a heck of a combination.
That's a pretty lethal line. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. And Stevenson's the odd man out, unfortunately, because
what's wrong with Stevenson?
I don't know.
What's wrong with Stevie?
You know, it's a professional game, and the other players are better sometimes, you know, and there's times you're the better player. And, you know, I'm glad it's happening in game, 70, 68, 64, 72 versus playoff, round one. I think
it's 70.
Yeah, we're 70. We're coming in 70 right now. 71 actually against Vancouver. Right. But listen, as crazy as this sounds right now, if he doesn't get going, he could be a healthy scratch, Tony.
Oof. How crazy is that?
So could Phil Kessel with the players coming back. It's
suddenly, Kessel suddenly is taking control and showing his leadership. Mm-hmm. And we knew that he had another gear. Come on. Mm-hmm. We've known this all season long. Mm-hmm.
And he's taking the reign in practice now. That's the other thing.
Yeah. He told the team that they better get things together and they better start listening to him. I was just looking back for Chandler Stevenson. Holy smokes, it's been a minute since he scored a goal. Oh, my goodness. Last goal was against Tampa on March the 9th for Chandler Stevenson. He did have an assist and a point against CBJ, but again, few and far between. So that's 5 games without a goal for Chandler Stevenson, and he has been just quieter than we're usually expected to see him on the ice. So
to be fair, they got him on
breaks out.
Yeah, late. I mean they got him on line 3 right now, so that's more of a defensive role. Let's start by acknowledging that. But he's also on line 3 because they tried him on line 2 and William Karlsson down on line 3. And, when it's, you'll dig this one, but when William Karlsson
Someone was sulking when he had to get moved to line 3, though.
He probably was. He probably got a haircut and everything.
You don't think he was sulking? I do. Hey, I wanted to ask you about a couple of things on our Twitter feed there on Monday. The one thing that I put up there, I ran out of ideas, there today. But I put up the poll. If you were at the game and didn't throw your hat on the ice for Eichel's hat trick, was it because one, had hat head, which sometimes I'll keep my cap on because I'm not taking it off right now because I have hat head. I'm not gonna lie. You're not gonna throw your $50 hat, right? And then in the nosebleeds, just too far to chuck it.
That's me.
Yeah, the hat that Eichel actually picked up out of that bin was thrown from the rafters.
Mm-hmm.
The guy came forward, and I retweeted it. He was in one of my my threads, and then an illegal hat, perhaps.
And then what? Our buddy Joe, an illegal hat. He gave his perspective what an illegal hat is. We're not going to say it, but that was pretty funny.
I ran out of ideas there for the fourth option, so I put.
You should use my option. Option E. I wasn't there. I left already.
But we still got 10% of the votes, and illegal hat beat hat head 10% to 9%. Actually, 50% not throwing the $50 hat. And then another shout out to our good friend at Bandit 1854. Did you see he was showing all the different tattoo options that he could have? And he wanted us to decide, I guess you and I, as if we're we definitely know our tats.
I got a few.
Well, he said, that he wanted us to know which one he should have. And I'm going to see. No, we can't. Will that show up on here?
Can't show this. Can't show that.
Can it show up on here? That doesn't show up, does it?
No, I'm looking for it here. I honestly didn't even see this.
That's all right. So anyway, we put it out there, and the fans actually got involved. Let the fans decide is what we posted on our Twitter.
Yeah,
feed.
Of course, you're gonna do something forever on your body. What better way to do it than have someone else make the decision for you?
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't figure out which one, and I wasn't going to ask where he's going to put this one. So either.
All right,
so we thank everyone.
Let the fans decide. Oh, it's a logo. Come on,
it's original. The logo. Yeah,
get something else. Get something besides the logo. Come on, you can.
But
do
does
better.
the team? Can the team? Pull the cease and desist for using their marks, their logo. You have to remove it. No. We thank everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Chris, I don't have is this an illegal hat? It could be. We thank you all for tuning in. Again, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Locked On Golden Knights. And again, coming up on tomorrow's show, we'll have a recap of the VGK Vancouver game, and that should be a lot of fun. And we'll take a look at that and break down all the happenings because it's never quiet around here. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. So long for now. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.